How's it going, you guys? So Asics is becoming more modern and releasing a lot of really great shoes lately, but one of its classic shoes is getting a modern makeover. After a few runs, I'm ready to give you my first impressions of the Asics Kayano Lite. So let's start off with the specs. It has 32mm stack height in the heel and 21mm in the forefoot, which gives it a 10mm drop. It comes in at 9.9 ounces for a men's size 9, which is an ounce and a half lighter than the standard Kayano. The shoe is in the cushion stability trainer category. So for the fit of the shoe, I found it to be true to size. It was super comfortable, perfect length, and I didn't have to crank down the laces, even though my feet are fairly narrow. So this Kayano Lite is very eco-friendly, and the upper gets a reused polyester material that I found to be really comfortable actually, even though it wasn't super breathable like some of the other meshes on other Asics shoes or different brands. Also, if you've been running in the regular Kayano for a while, you know it has a big plastic external heel counter, and the Kayano Lite does not, although it does have a very firm internal heel counter. So the midsole of the Kayano Lite uses flight foam. It's an eco-friendly blend, so it's supposed to decompose in landfills better, which I think is super cool, but I also really like the feel of this flight foam. So one thing that Asics are known for is gel, and you can see that there is no gel in the heel of the Kayano Lite, though there is a little bit underneath the metatarsal of the big toe. Another thing this shoe is missing that most stability Asics shoes have is a firm medial posting, and this goes away with that and has a wider last, and it has some flex grooves that make it a little more inherently stable. So I've done a few runs in the Kayano Lite so far, and I'm really liking the ride of the shoe. I found it to be plush, but it has a little bounce to it as well. I kind of think of it as a Clifton 7 if it were a normal stack height and without the rocker. And that being said, it is definitely not a maximal shoe, but it is a high cushioned everyday normal trainer. And although this is a stability shoe, it honestly doesn't feel like one. It definitely feels like a neutral shoe. So let's do a couple comparisons here. So I talked a lot about traditional stability shoes from Asics, like the GT2000. So you can see here this blue foam is a denser material that's going to be firmer. It's that medial posting I was talking about to help prevent from rolling in. And it also has a plastic trussic system. These were two things that I really didn't like in my review, so I'm really happy that the Asics Kayano Lite does not have the plastic piece on the bottom, and it does not have that firm medial posting. So because of these differences, I found the GT2000 V9 to be stiffer and a little more dull, while the Kayano Lite was softer, especially in the heel, and then had just a little extra bounce in the forefoot. So another shoe that I reviewed a couple years back was the redesigned Adrenaline that introduced the guide rails. So that shoe uses these guide rails that come above your foot on both the medial and lateral side to help prevent over and under pronation. So the Asics Kayano Lite does not use that. Instead, like I mentioned before, it uses that wider base to have a nice and sturdy platform, and then it also has just the geometry of the midsole. For the ride between the two, I found that the Adrenaline was a little dead feeling. It definitely didn't have that kind of bounce and kind of springiness that you find in the Kayano Lite. So I gave Brooks praise when they got rid of their medial posting and introduced their guide rail system, because I thought they were so ahead of their time and something definitely needed to be done about traditional stability shoes. So I'm really glad to see that Asics isn't stuck in the past and is moving forward and changing up their stability lines to be more modern. And I hope they bring it to other models too, like the Asics GT2000 series. So I'm going to put more miles on these guys, and I'm going to come back for a full review. Subscribe so you don't miss that. And as always, keep on running.